Welcome back to this another edition here of Red Hawk Radio's men's basketball presentation here. The Miami RedHawks taking on the Toledo Rockets here at home at Millett Hall with an already pretty substantial crowd starting to file in with about 27 minutes to tip. I'm Sean Weisemann here, and we'll give you some stats, some insights, some around the country, a whole bunch of stuff here in the next 25 minutes or so. First, we'll start with the series with this Rockets team. This Tuesday, this game here Tuesday is against the Rockets. Will be the 142nd meeting between the two programs. Miami has a chance to tie the all-time series with a win here today. Actually, it would be their third win in a row against the Rockets, as they last defeated this Rockets team 87-73 at Toledo's Savage Arena on January 9th. We'll get more into that game, but the RedHawks were terrific, led by Antoine Woolfolk's 21 points, 6 rebounds, and Brent Byers' 20 points, 8 rebounds, and helped the RedHawks cruise to victory. Miami also in that game, that just to kind of give you a bit of an idea, really was dominant in the paint and got out to as much as a 28-point lead in that game, and managed to cut obviously the lead only was 14 at the very end there, but it was only after a 4-minute period where they didn't score a single bucket. So certainly a lot of room for improvement despite a 14-point win. And what BartTorvik.com says by their game score metric was the best game of the season for Miami and the worst game of the season for Toledo. So, obviously Toledo really looking to remedy that absolutely atrocious performance, while Miami hoping to continue to play as dominantly as they did in January. Getting back to kind of more recent games, though, we can first kind of take a look at it. For those of you who somehow missed last week's game, on Friday, the Western Michigan Broncos in Miami faced off at Western Michigan, and it was a doozy of a game. Trey Perry was able to lead the team to victory with his first 10-plus point game since 21 points against Milligan, and his bucket with 0.4 seconds left helped close a 16-6 run over the final 5 minutes and 49 seconds, which ultimately led to another Miami comeback, this time a 69-67 victory for the RedHawks. RedHawks in that game were led by Pete Suter, who had 18. Almar Atlason with 16. Trey Perry had 14 points, and then Ian Elmer with 10. All of them scoring in double figures. And Miami is now 16-0 in conference play for the first time in history. And yes, that includes the Wally Szczerbiak RedHawks. This is a absolutely historically dominant RedHawks program right now, and we're really firing on all cylinders as of right now. That was also their 14th straight road win and 13 road wins in a season, which are both program records, and also another program record that we just keep seeing extended and extended further is the total wins in a season. Last year they actually set the record with 25 wins, going 25-9 and making it to the Mid-American Conference Championship game. This year they're up to 29 points. That was 29 wins, rather. That was Perry's first start of his collegiate career. And just another little side note about that Western Michigan game, the red and white recorded under 10 turnovers for the 12th time this season, which was really impressive for the RedHawks. Just some other news as far as their national rankings are concerned. Miami's been, Miami's been historically terrific this season, far surpassing the heights of Wally Szczerbiak's, 1999 to 2000 Miami RedHawks squad. But, one of the things that's been really cool to see is that this was the highest ranking in the AP Top 25, as the RedHawks are now 19th, highest ranking since March 13th, 1978. And we're also in the last time they were ranked, actually, was February 15th of 1999. And so This is obviously historic for the MAC on the whole, as the RedHawks are the first team from the MAC selected in this poll since the 2018-29 Buffalo Bulls, headed by now Alabama head coach Nate Oates. So terrific team there. Obviously also top mid-major team in the mid-major top 25, and College Insider had them in their newest mid-major poll as the number 2 team in the country, in mid-major in the country, which is a little disrespectful for a team 29-0. But regardless, you can certainly see they're starting to finally get some national recognition, even if you know, you start to hear some arguments about Auburn or Miami or some sort of foolish nonsense like that, you certainly can say that the RedHawks certainly are just able to win. I know we kind of talked some about the kind of home court advantage that the RedHawks have had, and you know, the 30th home win in the RedHawks extended their home win streak to 30 in a row in their most recent home win against Bowling Green, a 14-point victory, 91-77. And right now, the Red and White are actually tied with Akron for the second longest home win streak in the country, and Duke actually has the lead right now with 31, and Miami has now matched their record of 15 straight home wins over the course of a season, which actually was the first record set last season. So, you know, really terrific. A really terrific streak. I mean, you can say gajillion superlatives, but at the end of the day, this is just sheer dominance and the ability to close out games from this RedHawks squad. It's simply one that I've never seen in my entire life. It's unbelievable. But anyways, so kind of going to go over some of the ramifications of a win here today, because there will be a lot of them. So this is tonight's final home game for our seniors, Eli Yofin, Pete Suter, and Antoine Woolfolk. We obviously wish them you know, great rest of their time here in Miami, but also a great future playing career, because they've done so much for the program over the last couple years. And, you know, just to kind of give you a sense of the legacy they would be setting, if with a win today, Miami would secure their first MAC regular season title since the 04-05 season. Obviously, the first undefeated team, best start in program history, most wins in a season, most road wins, and then best program start in MAC history, which was originally Western Michigan at 19-0. They're now 29-0, and also set the longest win streak in MAC history, which was originally set by the 2001 to 2002 Kent State roster that ended up making the Elite Eight. So certainly bodes really well here for the RedHawks. We're going to pivot just a little bit, give you some scores, you know, some scores, some highlights around the MAC. We're also going to kind of dive a little bit into the MAC tournament setup, and then some women's basketball, as well as the MAC women's tournament starts here very shortly, next few days here. And so, yeah, so we'll get into that. For starters, across the country early on, we only have one ranked opponent who's actually just started. Alabama, Georgia just started with Georgia up 6-2. Tennessee, South Carolina, Tennessee up 35-24. Later in the day, you have Texas Tech, TCU, Virginia, Wake Forest, Florida, Mississippi State, and Vanderbilt, Ole Miss as some of your headlining games around the country as well. But it's early on, so obviously we're not too many games starting up yet. As far as MAC games are concerned, a couple with some pretty serious you know, MAC tournament ramifications. The biggest one I'm keeping an eye on here is OU versus Massachusetts. UMass is 6-11 in the MAC and really on the outside looking in as far as the MAC tournament is concerned. A half game out to be exact. And you know, they play Ohio, who is certainly looking to improve upon the 5 seed that they currently hold, a game back of Toledo with 2 games left. And so Ohio obviously trying to get a couple victories and trying to get a top 4 seed here in the MAC tournament. Also on the slate, we are currently Eastern Michigan and Buffalo just started. Buffalo also kind of on the fringe here, really looking to secure a victory. Buffalo just on the inside looking outwards, as Buffalo and Central Michigan are tied at 6-10 in the Mid-American. Buffalo 16-13 on the season, while Eastern is just you know, has already been eliminated, barring some pretty crazy scenarios playing out there. And also a game that also has some MAC tournament ramifications. Ball State and Western Michigan. Ball State 5-11 in the MAC, and with a win in their next 2 games, certainly would have a chance to make the MAC tournament. However, their next 2 games, obviously Western, and then they also unfortunately have to play Akron in their final game, or rather Central Michigan rather. So certainly a tough opponent in their final game, or certainly a team capable of beating anybody. The other 2 games for the MAC are Akron and Central Michigan. Like I said, Central Michigan on that 8 seed kind of bubble line. Akron just hoping to get a top 2 seed. Right now, their only loss is to the Miami RedHawks. And so, you know, they obviously want to win today to make sure they keep that top 2 seed. And then Kent State and Northern Illinois. Northern Illinois playing in what will be their final couple games in the Mid-American Conference before they depart after the season for the Horizon League. And Kent State is 21-8, 12-4 in the Mid-American, and Northern Illinois 9-19, 4-12 in the Mid-American. Certainly not a great season for Northern Illinois, but Kent State, one of the luckiest teams in America, continues to get it done and is now solidly in third place. Actually clinched the top 3 seed in the Mid-American. So a great MAC slate for anybody interested, especially that OU UMass game will certainly have a lot of ramifications as far as seeding and record is concerned, and we'll keep you guys updated here during those games. As far as the women's games are concerned, Miami is actually our league leaders, 15-1, a half game up on Ball State, who is 15-2, who they actually beat at Ball State, which is terrific. Miami's only loss in the conference to UMass, who's currently third place. But Miami has already clinched a share of the Mid-American regular season title as they go and take on Kent State. Kent State is 14-14, 8-8 in the MAC, and just barely on the bubble. 3 8-8 teams, and so Kent State certainly hoping to get a better seed than the 8th seed that they're currently listed at. But, anyway, so regardless, this will be a very competitive game, and it'll be here at Millett, so highly recommend making it to this game. I certainly will be here tomorrow at 7 p.m., and, great game and highly recommended as this Miami squad goes for one of their best seasons in the last 25 years. And, great job from Glenn Box in his third season, having watched and commentated many of his games in the first 2 years. It's certainly terrific to see the program that he built, from barely being able to field a roster that was competitive to, dominating for most of the MAC. That one loss they had was on a buzzer beater layup by UMass too. So, I mean, realistically, they could be undefeated in the conference, and the point being, this is a very dominant ladies team that you should definitely get out and see one last time before they head to the MAC tournament as the massive favorites, I would argue, along with UMass and Ball State. Certainly a really exciting matchup there. As far as other things to look at, we'll kind of come back here to our Toledo versus Miami game here with about 15 minutes left until tip, and we really appreciate you sticking around with us. We're going to take a quick break and then come back in just a couple minutes and kind of give you some insights about Toledo for Miami, and then kind of give you some keys to the game and a final score prediction. Don't miss it. We'll be back in just a minute. Welcome back to Red Hawk Radio. I'm your host, Sean Weisemann, here, and we'll give you some insights about Toledo, about Miami, some keys to the game, and then finally a final score prediction here. First, Toledo 16-13, 10-6 in the MAC, currently looking like solidified pretty much as the 4 seed here in the MAC. A game up on OU, 2 games back of Kent State, and certainly a really formidable squad. Currently on a 3-game win streak with wins over Eastern Michigan, Northern Illinois, and OU, all of those by double digits. And Toledo, a pretty consistent team. They were actually a 1 seed 3 years in a row in the MAC tournament prior to last year's season, where they went 18-15, 10-8 in the MAC. And their head coach, Todd Kalwazik, is in his 16th season with the Rockets, and he's built a real consistent contender here in the Mid-American, and a team that everyone in the Mid-American really respects. So heading into the season, this was a team projected to finish 6th in the preseason poll. They've actually outplayed that a little bit and currently projected right now to play, like I mentioned, 5th-ranked OU. According to the MAC standings as they stand right now, there's obviously going to be a couple games left for all the MAC schools. Plenty of time for some fluctuation there, but it looks like that will be the 4-5 game for Toledo. Couple key players to watch. I always like to point out Sonny Wilson is an absolute beast. He's the junior guard, the only preseason All-MAC selection, second-team All-MAC player preseason, averaging 17 points a game and averaging 4.5 assists a game as well. And you can't forget about Leroy Blyden Jr. as well, who, those two are kind of the catalysts for the offense. Leroy Blyden Jr., averaging just shy of 16 a game, along with 4.2 assists a game, and also leads the team with 1.7 steals a game. And Blyden is playing better than Brant Byers was last year, and Brant Byers won the MAC of the year, and so certainly looks like Toledo. If Toledo has a chance to secure what would be one of the biggest upsets in college basketball, it will be because of Wilson and Blyden. This 1-2 combination had 32 combined points in the first matchup. Blyden was just dreadful in the game, though, with only 4 of 14 from the field, 3 of 9 from 3. And so it kind of feels like if you can cut at least one of those two off, there's just not a lot of shooting the rest of the way, and we'll get into that more and kind of the keys to the game and stuff like that. But certainly not a lot of shooting to go around otherwise. But some other folks you're going to want to keep an eye on here is senior forward Sean Craig, who's their leading rebounder with about 7.5 a game, and then their junior center Austin Parks, who's got about a block and a half a game as well. Certainly some other players to keep an eye out for Toledo. For Miami, you start with Miami, and you can't help but mention Pete Suter. The heart of the team scored 17 versus the Western Michigan Broncos, and let me tell you, when he went out with 8 minutes left, and you really in the game against Western Michigan kind of fouled out there, you felt like, oh my gosh, felt like the oxygen was out of the room, and really felt like, oh my gosh, this is it. But the Miami was able to rally. Obviously able to secure the win, but regardless, he really is the heart and soul of the team, but certainly going to have to improve upon his 7-point performance that he had against Toledo here in January. Another player to keep an eye on for, and we still haven't actually received official word about his status yet, is Luke Skaljak, who appears to be a game-time decision. We have seen him warming up, but he did miss last week's game versus Western Michigan, and the Western Michigan game was the worst offensive performance of the season when you're down to your third-string point guard. So you hope to see him at least 95%. Oh, obviously you want to see him 100% though, but certainly looks to be a game-time decision. And then somebody that I think kind of gets underrated in the barrage of shooting is the defensive menace Antoine Woolfolk, who is a real presence on the glass and actually led the team in scoring for the first game with 21 points. And Antoine is poor defensively in the inside, and has a real big chance to really score a lot of points today. I imagine that will be a similar focus for Travis Steele's squad here in Millett Hall. Is they really will look and crash the glass and really try to make sure that they can really attack inside, especially with Skaljak potentially being back, a guy who can really dribble and drive as well as anybody on the roster. Along with guys like Suter and Elmer, able to really keep you balanced, along with Byers and Almer Atlison, able to give you some perimeter shooting. Kind of a great way to get some offense going. So what are our keys to the game, as we have about 8 minutes here until the game, until tip-off rather. So my first note that I wrote down right away was just crash the freaking glass. They were out-rebounded 39-28 versus Western Michigan, which has just kind of been a weakness this entire season. Steele kind of mentioned it before the year, like, listen, we know rebounding was going to be something we need to improve on. And it has improved, but it's still a weakness. When you're out-rebounded by 11, it's harder to win games when you don't give yourself as many chances. Also, free throws. Free throws have just been it feels like in the games that are the closest, it's because they've left a lot of points on the board with free throws. They had 25 free throw attempts, only converted 15 of them, and they left a lot of points on the board versus Western Michigan. On the flip side, they shot 88% from the free throw line versus Toledo, 7 of 8 in their game in January. So the point being, you really give yourself some cushion when you're hitting them at a high clip. Also, I know we kind of mentioned this before, but certainly something to just kind of remind our folks here at home of is the fact that this team is one of the worst. This Toledo team is one of the 50 worst defenses in the country versus the two-point shot, which our country really focusing on the mid-range and low post. And so, if Miami can get that lead early as they did in the first matchup, it basically made it impossible. It completely took Toledo out of their offensive rhythm. They just don't have enough three-point shooting on their roster to really make anything happen here. Woolfolk, it's going to be Pete Suter. The offense just simply isn't built for large chunks. I mean, only 3 guys on their roster shoot more than 35% from 3, and Leroy Blyden is the only guy who's shot more than 100 threes this season. For reference, Miami has 3 different guys who have shot more than 100 threes this year. So the point being, they don't have a lot of volume shooters aside from Leroy Blyden, and that's going to be something you really want to keep an eye on here as the game progresses. One final thing before we go here is obviously it's been a pleasure, but this is actually the final home game, as we mentioned, for these seniors and for a lot of the seniors, myself included back home. It's always been a pleasure to broadcast here at Millett Hall, but obviously as my final game, this is not necessarily goodbye because I will be doing baseball, but also obviously a really bittersweet moment here as we are about to wrap this up. Well, one final thing here is I'll give you my final score prediction. I project this to be a little bit higher scoring than their last game. I think that Miami's defense will maybe, especially the defense maybe won't play as well as they did. The defense definitely was terrific against Western, but Western's also been a team that struggled offensively quite a bit. So my prediction for this score is going to be 90-82, with the leading scorers being Pete Suter and Antoine Woolfolk. I think those two will have their biggest, some of their biggest games of the season, and I really, especially Woolfolk, expect to see him have a real, monster of a game. Something similar to his 21.6 rebounds that he had against Toledo the first time. Well, with about 4.5 minutes left here until tip, I will kick it to my friends Gavin Stark and Andrew Relvas as we get here underway. Thank you so much for listening. I'm Sean Weisemann. We'll be back here in just a couple minutes.
For the final time in the 2025-26 season, the Miami men's basketball team takes the court with one thing on their mind, and that is win. A win tonight would give the RedHawks their first MAC regular season title in 21 years, and they would become the first team in program history to have a perfect home record in a season. The only thing in their way, however, is a team from up north in the Toledo Rockets. Good evening and welcome inside Millett Hall for another sellout crowd here for this magical Miami men's basketball season in the 2025-26 season. Andrew Relvas alongside Gavin Stark here on RedHawk Radio. And Gavin, the RedHawks, all they do is keep winning. They bumped up to number 19 in the country in the AP polls on Monday, and they survived a near scare at Western Michigan, but all that matters is they won, and they continue this really special season.
Yeah, and Andrew, they get a key victory on the road, like you said, against Western Michigan. But this victory is so key because these close games so big as you head into March. Their final game in the month of February ends up in a game like a March type of game. A game winner, though, from Trey Perry, the freshman, steps up in his big moment, plays 30 minutes in that one. Highest minutes on the season, highest points per game on the season with 14, and a game winner to knock things all off for his game. First start as well under the RedHawks, so a key performance from him. But Luke Skowczyk looked like he's going to get the nod and start tonight and play in this one. So
we will pause for the national anthem and be right back inside a bumpin' Millett Hall here in Oxford, Ohio. We'll take a break. Stay with us here on RedHawk Radio. Welcome inside Millett Hall for tonight's men's basketball matchup between the number 19 ranked and still undefeated Miami RedHawks and the Toledo Rockets. Miami coming in with a record of 29-0. They're 16-0 in the MAC and looking to push that winning streak to 30 games. And for the Toledo Rockets, a record of 16-13. They are 10-6 in the MAC, which is fourth, and they are on a 3-game winning streak. Starters have been announced for both sides. First, for the RedHawks, it is Ian Elmer, Antoine Woolfolk, Brant Byers, Luke Skowczyk making the start after he missed last game, and Peter Suter. And meanwhile, for the Toledo Rockets, led by Todd Kowalczyk in his 16th year, it is Leroy Blyden, Austin Parks, Sony Wilson, Minor Strong, and Sean Craig. That has been the typical starting lineup, especially late in the season for the Toledo Rockets. Well, Gavin, we already saw these two teams face off once before, and that was a win where Miami absolutely dominated. They were up by 20 in the first half, almost pushed it to 30, but it was still a 14-point road victory, and the RedHawks are looking to have a similar type of result here tonight.
Yeah, last time they met, January 9th, like you said, Miami dominates in that one, but Toledo still able to find their way inside of the top 5 of the MAC. They punched their ticket to the MAC tournament as well, but this game right here is one of those games where people are projecting to be a semifinal matchup in that MAC tournament. So, I mean, these two teams could play in less than 2 weeks as well, once again on a Friday night in Cleveland. So an important matchup, absolutely, but Toledo, a team that's improved, and offensively they've improved the most, especially in this 3-game win streak that they're on right now, ranking in the top 50 in all offenses through these last 3 games, 2 90-point games as well. I mean, it's been really impressive, and it all starts with the guard play from Sonny Wilson and Leroy Blyden. Leroy Blyden averaging 16 points per game, one of the top freshmen, if not the top freshman in the Mid-American Conference as well. So a lot of talent, especially in this backcourt, could bring a lot of fits to this RedHawk team. They were able to fend them off last time, obviously, and kind of dominate that one on the road. Can they do it again? We'll see here inside Millett Hall. A good environment, though, for sure.
And for Toledo, they have a really good offense. It's kind of top-heavy. It's not as deep as the RedHawks have it. They have more scorers on their side, but it's primarily just kind of the starting players that do the heavy lifting, and the RedHawks will look to take advantage of a depleted defense. Let's take a look at the MAC standings. Miami is first, 16-0. Akron second, 15-1. We could see a potential finals rematch if those two teams make it out. Kent State is a 3. We have that matchup potentially on the way. Toledo is 4, Ohio is 5. Those two teams actually played in round 1 last year, and if the RedHawks do make it into the semifinals, that will be the 3rd time that both these teams have played. Bowling Green is a 6 seed, Buffalo is a 7 seed, and Central Michigan right now is an 8 seed. UMass and Ball State both looking in, but a lot could change in these next 2 games, and for Miami, they're looking to keep it just on the course here inside Millett Hall tonight.
I mean, it's such an important game for this team because, last game the offense struggles, but no Luke Skaljak out there on the court for you. He comes back tonight, has something wrapped around his wrist and hand area. We're not sure exactly what that injury is. Could be a wrist, could be a hand, thumb, anything like that. But either way, this offense has their guy back, their facilitator back. And that's super important to see how this offense is going to run because we saw the difference. I mean, Trey Perry, all credit to him. He did a great job. I mean, struggled a little bit at the free throw line, but besides that, great job for the freshman to really step up and play his role and take it on. But when you have a guy like Luke Skaljak step back onto the floor, it really elevates your offense to the next level. And I think we're going to see that tonight and see this offense really thrive here at home for the final time this season.
Skaljak coming in averaging 10 points, 3 rebounds, and 5 assists, but obviously he didn't get a ton of starting minutes early, but has really stepped in for Evan Ipsaro nicely here in the second half of the season. The RedHawks, they're going to be wearing their white jerseys, Miami script in red across the chest with the red numbers, and the white shorts with red stripes across them. Meanwhile, the Toledo Rockets, the navy blue and the gold jerseys checkered on the sides with Toledo across the chest in the gold numbers and the blue shorts. We're all set to go inside a awesome environment here inside Millett Hall, the 4th sellout in a row, and all Miami fans here are hoping this one is the best. The final cherry on the top. The tip is up, won by Miami, and Antoine Woolfolk and the RedHawks will take it from left to right. Kick in the corner from Suter. Byers driving down low, fades away from the free throw line, and his jumper falls home, and the RedHawks strike first 2-0 in the opening period.
And that's huge because Byers last game, only 2 points, already gets the first bucket to go. A guy who's been struggling offensively recently gets things going quick.
Quick answer by Miami, and this is Austin Parks on the high block. Gives on the right side, this is Sonny Wilson, Toledo's leading scorer. Goes on the left side, they go over to Sean Craig. Left wing 3-pointer way off. Rebound tapped out from Parks, out of reach from Leroy Blyden in front of the half-court desk, and it'll be Miami basketball again.
I think something to circle in this game statistically wise, Toledo 34.3 rebounds per game on the season. Miami 35.7. Two teams that struggle in the rebounding category, but Miami wins that one.
16-footer for Antoine Woolfolk. He drills it, and Miami's up 4-0. Back-to-back points in the paints for the RedHawks. And now Toledo will try and work it the other way. Austin Parks draws a double team, feeds to a wide open Sean Craig, and he hits the lefty layup off the glass and in to bring Toledo within 2. So far, everybody is in the paint. Ian Elmer on the near baseline finds Brant Byers. Right wing 3, this one short, and the rebound finds Sean Craig. Craig, the former IU Indy Jaguar, making the rebound. Sonny Wilson up top, the All-MAC third-team player last year, has increased his scoring averages every year. Left wing three-pointer for Strong, and that one is too strong, rattles off, and the rebound is cleared by Woolfolk, and it's back to Skowjak. Skowjak, wearing a protective glove, turns it over, and it's off to the races for the Rockets. Here comes Leroy Blyden, falling down, misses the layup. Great defense by Byers, and the RedHawks have numbers. Pushing a pace, Peter Suter finds Skowjak, fadeaway jumper from the free throw line. He makes it. Defense and offense for Miami. They're up 6-2 here in the first.
And a great job by Luke Skowjak. Turns it over on the other end, gets it back, and scores the next possession offensively. A great job by him to just keep his head in this one.
And Austin Parks searching for Blyden on the left wing, turns it over. Great job by Peter Suter to break up that pass, looking like a cornerback. And it'll give Miami the ball right back.
Toledo trying to play fast early in this one, and Miami says, okay, we'll take it. We want to play fast as well. We can play as fast as anyone in the country, and they're doing so right now and really thriving on that.
Skowjak, top of the key, bounces on the right side to Antoine Woolfolk in the paint. He is Ian Elmer, but he's tarped by 3 Rockets. Recovers the ball, and the RedHawks will reset. And now we got a stoppage. Not really sure what this is. It might be.
It's like a shot clock issue.
Yeah, shot clock issue. There was actually a shot clock issue to start the game in Western Michigan. I was there. It was about 2 possessions before Western Michigan's goal shot clock went dark, and it was dark for the rest of the game. Not this scenario, though, and we will reset play. 17:30 left to go. Miami ahead 6-2 in the opening period. Luke Skowjak on the left side. Drives in from the corner, kicks out. Ian Elmer on the left wing, trying to pass it back to Suter, receives it. Ian Elmer, left wing three-pointer, that's off at the death of the shot clock. But the Rockets turn it over right back the other way. And now we got another stoppage. Kind of a weird scene of events inside Millett Hall. So a couple of turnovers, gives it right back to Miami, and another shot clock issue about 20 seconds later.
We'll put the shot clock issues to a side. I mean, this Miami team is active with the quick hands so far in this one, just poking away the ball multiple times already in this one.
Suter feeds inside the paint. Here's Antoine Woolfolk, goes back up top, and the RedHawks will reset. Peter Suter, left wing 3. Oh, yeah! Peter Suter drills it, and the RedHawks are ahead 9-2.
His final time in Millett Hall. You are sadly mistaken if you think this guy's not going to put on a show tonight for this home crowd.
Back the other way for the Rockets. On the left timeline, nearly intercepted by Suter. Left wing three-pointer for Blyden, way off, tapped up by Parks. The rebound is going to be called a foul instead on Miami. Sean Craig was in the area, but they're going to rule Skowjak the foul on that one, and it'll stay with Toledo. Now we see Almar Atlason coming in for Antoine Woolfolk, along with Trey Perry in for Luke Skowjak. And so far for Skowjak, seemed pretty good.
Yeah.
Despite wearing the protective half glove. Back to the Rockets as they try and get this offense going. 5-0 run by Miami in the corner. Sonny Wilson for 3. That's off again. The Rockets are 0 of 4 from 3 to start. And here come the racing RedHawks. Brent Byers on the left wing gives over Perry. And back to Suter on the very edge of the Miami logo. Suter on the right wing. Passes close to Trey Perry. Top of the key. Trey Perry just inside of the three-point line. And he nails it. A red-hot start for the RedHawks. A 7-0 run here in the first.
You notice the confidence in Trey Perry continuing to grow. One of the more confident players already on this roster, but man, is he getting more and more confident.
In the paint, Sean Craig denied by Elmer, and back the other way are the RedHawks. Peter Suter receives a pass, or excuse me, Brant Byers receives a pass, straightaway three-pointer. Atlason, that one rolls off. In comes Perry skying in for the rebound. They're going to say out of bounds off of him, and it'll be Toledo basketball after our media timeout. But what a start for the RedHawks. They have really soared above in the first 5 minutes or so, and Miami's ahead 11-2 at our first media timeout. We'll be back inside Millett Hall for more Miami men's basketball on Red Hawk Radio. .40 left to go inside the first half in Millett Hall, and the RedHawks are off to a red-hot start, up 11-2, and it'll be Toledo basketball working from right to left and trying to find an answer offensively. Up top, this is Kyler Vanderjack, the former Central Michigan player, gives close to Leroy Blyden. Blyden barreling down the lane, searching for space. Elmer won't let him in, gives back to Vanderjack inside the paint, trying to fade away, far elbow jumper. He gets the friendly roll, and Toledo gets their first bucket in 3 minutes. It's 11-4. See if the RedHawks can force another run here. Almar Atlason, top of the key, gives on the right side. Brant Byers, guarded by Sean Craig, spinning around, searching for space. Great defense by Craig, forces the miss, and the rebound is cleared by Owinga. Back the other way for Toledo. This is Sony Wilson in the paint, tarped by Elmer, gives up top. Sean Craig guarded heavily by Justin Kirby. This paint defense has been relentless for Miami. Here's Sony Wilson down the lane, righty floater falls in, and Toledo has scored 4 straight points.
And that's what Sony Wilson can do, just finds a way to get it to the rim and score 17 points per game on the season.
Elmer kicks in the corner to Kirby for 3. Kirby's all alone. He makes him pan. Miami's ahead 14-6 in the first.
Kirby steps into the game and makes an impact right away.
And a quick response by Toledo. That's probably the type of game we're going to see here tonight. Lefty layup falls in, and it's 14-8. Back to Miami. Brant Byers, top of the key, outside of the three-point line. Gives over Almar Atlason, who's orchestrating the offense. On the left block, searching for open bodies, gives close to Ian Elmer. Elmer, left wing three, contested, and he makes it. Ian Elmer, he's unconscious right now, and he propels Miami ahead 17-8 in the first period.
Just such a pure stroke from Ian Elmer. He's been money all season from the three-point line. Money there again. 44% from the three-point line on the season.
Sean Craig in the paint was nearly out of bounds, but he saves the possession. Right wing three from Sony Wilson clanks off, and the rebound is picked up by Perry. Trey Perry scored the game-winning bucket. Gives over Brant Byers. Straightaway three-pointer. He makes it. It's Miami's fourth three-pointer of the half, and they are rolling over Toledo up 20-8.
Byers shoots that one from uptown here in Oxford, Ohio. He shot it from the logo.
And he has that range. It's really insane to see it in play. Toledo trailing by 12. Right wing three-pointer from Blyden, in and out. And the RedHawks are there for the rebound. It was Kirby and Byers, but the rebound will be credited to Kirby. 12:46 left to go. Right wing three-pointer, Kirby, and he doesn't get the friendly roll. Almost went home. Elmer grabs the rebound, gives up top to Almar Atlason, finds Kirby in the paint. Ball stripped, and it's going to be a 5-on-4 for the Rockets. Slow it down a little bit. Leroy Blyden puts on the brakes, and he gives on the left side. Jalen Owinga, left wing three-pointer, that's off, and the rebound is cleared again by Miami.
Kirby all over the boards right now. 8 rebounds last game, made a huge impact on the glass in that one in Western Michigan. He's doing it again here tonight.
In the paint, Perry threw it away. Leroy Blyden takes it, and he glides in with the lefty layup to bring this one within 10. 20-10 with 12 minutes left to go in the first. It's back to Miami. This offense well ahead of schedule, and we got a foul on the floor. Todd Kowalczyk not happy about a push-off of Miami, but we won't see it, and we will take immediate timeout. 11:52 left to go. The RedHawks are cruising right now, up by 10, and we'll be right back inside Millett Hall. Welcome back inside Millett Hall. Miami ahead 20-10 in the first period. Andrew Relvas alongside Gavin Stark on RedHawk Radio. Thanks again for joining us. It'll be Miami basketball working from left to right, and Peter Suter inbounds to Luke Skaljak. Skaljak on the right wing, searching for open bodies, nearly turn it over, but Suter picks up the loose ball, gives up top Almar Atlason, back on the left wing to Antoine Woolfolk rather. Woolfolk gives over Skaljak on the right side, and he feeds over Kirby. Fadeaway three-pointer for Suter at the end of the shot clock, no good. And the rebound is picked up by Will James. James, the freshman, gives on the right side to Leroy Blyden. Nearly turned it over, and he nearly fell down. but the Rockets reset. And Will James lost his balance, and in comes Kirby to steal it away. Racing the other way, here's Peter Suter. Gives on the right side, Luke Skowjak, fadeaway three-pointer. That one's off, and the rebound is cleared for the moment by Toledo. And now this will be a foul on Antoine Woolfolk as he went over the top of Owinga, who grabbed the rebound.
I don't like that call at all. I mean, it was pretty clear Woolfolk was just trying to get out of the way. He wasn't really going for any ball at all there, but whistle's blown.
First foul on Miami. We only have 2 fouls tonight. One on Vanderjagt and the other one on Woolfolk, like I just mentioned.
Sometimes you just got to enjoy it when the game's going so fast. Already 30 total points in this one. Not even halfway through the first half. Only 2 fouls. I mean, just soak it in.
Austin Parks, top of the key, gives on the right side to Will James Jr., and he turns it over. Peter Suter swipes it away, lost the basketball, and it's bounced again, and here come the Rockets. And now Toledo turns it over. Loose ball on the baseline in front of Miami's bench, and they're going to say this is off of the RedHawks, so it'll go back to Toledo. I mean, we've seen that kind of play happen a lot, and that they're actually going to overturn this one, so it'll be Miami basketball, but at times in this game, it's been a little sloppy, and that's expected with the tempo.
I think the confidence of the RedHawk bench got the call changed right there. That was great work by the bench there.
You love to see it. Peter Suter on the right side, driving in, lost the basketball, gives over Atlason, top of the key. Here's Antoine Woolfolk, high bounce to Atlason, and the RedHawks nearly turn over again. So far, 4 turnovers for Miami, but it feels like we could be inching to double digits if this continues.
Gotta take better care of the basketball. I mean, just can't be sloppy with it in games like this.
Suter picking up his dribble, gives over Kirby in the corner, back to Suter, right wing 3, and 1! Peter Suter, ice in his veins, makes a contested three-pointer, and the foul for the 4-point play coming up. The Carmel kid does it again.
Are you kidding me? Peter Suter takes a look at the student section and gives them a smile after two. The confidence on this senior guard has taken the nation by storm. He's all over the place on social media for his scoring abilities, and you see exactly why. They're a fadeaway and 1 3-pointer.
So he misses the free throw. It's a traditional 3-point play, and Miami's up 23-10. Kind of a football score inside Millett Hall here. Toledo, they've been scoreless for the past 2 minutes. Been a couple of periods like that all game long. In a trap, Strong gets it right back. 18-footer from the free throw line, and it bottoms in. Much needed answer by Toledo. They cut it to 11. Back the other way. Here comes Miami. Antoine Woolfolk in the paint, bodying up with Parks. That's going to be a fun matchup to watch. Straightaway three-pointer. Atlason off the rim, no good. Rolled out 3 times, and it's back to Toledo. Austin Parks thought about the three-pointer, and he gives on the right side to Will James Jr. Working well, top of the key. Contested jumper falls in for Leroy Blyden, and that's 4 straight points by Toledo.
Leroy Blyden continues to just grow throughout his freshman season at Toledo. He has just been an impressive guard.
Down the lane, righty layup, counted, and the foul for Antoine Woolfolk. The former Rutgers Scarlet Knight makes Toledo pay, and the RedHawks are ahead 25-14. The three-point play coming up. They're actually, I got faked out, thought they were going to roll this one off, but Travis Steele and Kowalczyk are making a ton of subs. So the N1 will stand.
Woolfolk showing off his athletic ability. That isn't talked about enough, truly. I mean, this guy just so athletic for 6'9", 250. I mean, he can really just move as well and get straight down into the lane for the and one.
And he converts the three-point play. The RedHawks up 26-14. Miami on pace like that Toledo game in the first matchup for over 50 points. Leroy Blyden Jr., top of the key, barreling down the lane. Quick pass down low to Austin Parks, and they're going to say it was off of Miami. Both Woolfolk and Elmer were in the area code. and it was off of one of them.
The Miami defense doing a really good job just trapping Toledo on the offensive end, just kind of having to force passes a lot of times.
And here's Leroy Blyden, who explodes just outside of the free throw line, makes the jumper, and it's 26-16. So Blyden is willing this Toledo team back, and Luke Skowjak will try and get an answer. Free throw jumper and the crossover. It's good again for Luke Skowjak. After missing last game, he looks as good as gold, and the RedHawks are up 28-16 in the first.
Yeah, sometimes it takes a guy maybe a half of a half to, really get back into the game, but Skowjak has been just right back into this one since the start.
On the right side, Sean Craig inside the three-point line gives over Sony Wilson. Toledo is 0 of 7 from deep. They're trying to get something going. Right elbow jumper, a deep one for Austin Parks in the face of Antoine Woolfolk, and he makes it. It's 28-18, approaching another media timeout with our next stoppage. And we'll see what the RedHawks want to do here. Peter Suter dancing on the right side, hands close to Luke Skowjak, right wing three-pointer. He makes it again. Back-to-back three-pointers for Skowjak. Miami is exploding ahead, 31-18 in the first.
This team's just unconscious from the three-point line in this half.
Austin Parks, nice ball movement, left wing three, Vanderjack. It rolls off. Toledo's 0 of 8 from deep. Vanderjack grabs the misses after it was tapped out by Craig, and Vanderjack turns it over on the baseline. And Elmer turns it over back the other way, and now we're probably going to take a break as in came a Toledo Rocket scoring that one. And our score at the break is 31-20. Miami ahead of Toledo as Sony Wilson scored that layup. We'll be back in a moment. 7:16 left to go here in a fun first half. $7:16 left to go, and a really strong start by Miami, up 31-20 in the first period. Luke Skowjak was wincing, and he actually grabbed his other hand. So he will take a seat, and for the RedHawks, it'll be Suter, Elmer, Perry, Byers, and Woolfolk out. against this Toledo squad. It'll be Miami basketball working from left to right, and here comes a zone by the Toledo Rockets. Todd Kowalczyk trying to get this defense up to speed. Trey Perry has it, scored the game-winning bucket in the last game against Western Michigan. Gives on the left side, Peter Suter, tarped by 2 Rockets. Gives up top to Brant Byers, and they cycle over on the right side to Trey Perry. Perry waving everybody off and orchestrating the offense. Goes back up top to Antoine Woolfolk, and Woolfolk lost the dribble and the basketball. Shot clock winds out, and that'll be a shot clock turnover by Toledo. It's back to the gold and blue Toledo Rockets. Leroy Blyden, and Ian Elmer rises up and swats it away. A statement made by Ian Elmer, who can do it both ways.
And I think the key thing in Ian Elmer's game is, we talk about his offense so often that I think his defense kind of gets overlooked at times. He's one of the best defenders in the entire MAC, in my opinion. He is stellar on that end of the court.
And he's one of the best rebounders, too.
Absolutely.
Austin Parks all alone from 3, hesitated for a moment before he gives on the left wing to Sony Wilson. Back over, left wing three-pointer from Craig. Clangs off again. The rebound will be out of bounds off of Miami and Peter Suter. Toledo is now 0 of 9 from deep. And overall coming in, they're 4th in the MAC at 36% from beyond the arc.
It's a team that you have to respect at the three-point line, and Miami is respecting them at the three-point line, and Toledo just not able to answer at all from beyond the arc so far. And if you want to beat this team, you can't let up 6 and have 0 halfway through the first half.
Back on the baseline, the Rockets will work it. We see Tyler Robbins coming in for Antoine Woolfolk. Blyden swings up top. Sean Craig in the paint, just outside of the restricted area, searching for space. He's really well defended by 2 RedHawks, and he traveled. Miami forces another turnover, Toledo's 7th.
Defense so far for the RedHawks has just been suffocating at times, and it's really put Toledo in a type of a blender so far in this first half. I mean, they are lost offensively.
31-20, Miami ahead. Peter Suter on the left wing, feeds in the corner. Ian Elmer searching for space. Right corner three-pointer, that rims off. Tyler Robbins was battling for positioning, and Austin Parks comes away with it. Miami has been scoreless for the past 2 minutes, and in comes Sony Wilson, and they're going to call a foul on Trey Perry on the floor, only Miami's 2nd tonight.
Trey Perry just half a step behind there. Picks up the foul. And look who's back in the game, Andrew.
Luke Skowjak coming back in. And, I mean, for Skowjak here, you just hope you got to play careful. I mean, Miami, they got the lead. They've looked good without you. Just play careful. Don't need to risk further injury.
Right.
Sony Wilson at the free throw line, kicks out. Owingo for 3, and Toledo finally makes their first three-pointer of the game. They're 1 for 10, and the score is 31-23 in the first.
Sometimes all you need to see is one go down. If you're Toledo, could be the one.
Tyler Robbins, straightaway three-pointer. Rims off, no good, but the rebound tapped by Ian Elmer, and the RedHawks will reset the possession. Skowjak at the logo, gives over Tyler Robbins on the right wing, back to Skowjak. Skowjak bounces in the paint. Here's Robbins working against Owinga. Robbins over the top, and they're going to call him for a travel. So travel on Robbins, the freshman. And now he will sub out. So now we'll see Almar Atlison coming back in.
Tyler Robbins has a bright future here inside of Oxford, Ohio. Kid is just so uber talented at 6'10".
The RedHawks have a really good forward rotation of Woolfolk, Atlison, and Robbins. Toledo behind by 8. Deep three-pointer for the Rockets, and it's good for Leroy Blyden Jr. 5-point game now, 31-26. The RedHawks are searching for an offensive answer. Almar Atlison left wing. He is hounded by Will James Jr. And that'll be a quick whistle and a foul on James.
Toledo currently on an 8-0 run here and has gotten back within 5 just like that. 2 threes, a huge, huge part in that 8-0 run, their first 2 of the night.
Skowjak in the corner, feeds to Almar Atlason, lost the ball. They're going to call a push-off, an offensive foul on the Icelander, and that'll give the ball back to the Rockets. So another turnover on Miami, and approaching one more media timeout coming up. But Toledo's making a really strong response on the road tonight.
Very impressive what Toledo has done. Felt like they were dead in the water to start this one off, and now they have answered back, and they're right back in this one.
Miami's offense has slowed down a little bit, and Toledo trying to keep it that way. Will James on the left wing draws a double team, and they go back towards center court to Leroy Blyden Jr. Blyden Jr. down the lane, the hoop and hang. It falls for Leroy Blyden Jr., who has willed this Toledo team back. It's a 3-point game. And Miami turns it over. Brant Byers threw it away. Back the other way, Will James, righty layup falls in. This is a Toledo Avalanche. They're on a 12-0 run right now, and it's a 1-point game.
And if I'm Travis Steele, I am calling a timeout. Tends to not do so often. Not going to do so here, it looks like, either.
Skowjak skips on the right side, gives over Peter Suter, top of the key. Kirby on the left wing goes in the paint. Almar Atlason misses the righty layup, and Owinga grabs the miss.
And that's just one that's got to fall. Such a good look inside for Atlason.
RedHawks have been scoreless for the past 4.5 minutes. Jalen Owinga in the paint, fadeaway jumper, short. Will James the rebound, tapped away, stolen away by Atlason, and the RedHawks will work it slow. This has to be a possession for Miami where they take care of the ball. Peter Suter on the right wing gives up top, Almar Atlason, and he'll go on the left side to Luke Skowjak near the logo. Skowjak on the right wing, falling away. And then he receives it back to Peter Suter. Peter Suter barreling down the lane, lost the ball. They're going to call a foul, however, on Toledo, and that'll take us into immediate timeout. So Miami needs an answer, and they need a pulse offensively if they want to come into the halftime break on a high note and bring that momentum with them. But we'll take our likely final media timeout here in the first half. It's Miami 31 and Toledo 30 on RedHawk Radio. Two and a half minutes left to go in the first half with Miami up 31-30, but for the RedHawks in the past 5 minutes. They haven't scored any points. And they have turned it over a lot. 9 turnovers in total, and each player, 9 players for Miami, has one.
Just all around, just not taking care of the basketball so far in this one. But credit Peter Suter, takes care of the basketball on this drive and gets to the paint and picks up a foul. That's what the smart senior player does. You know, when the offense feels like it's kind of dead, get to the free throw line and get your free buckets.
Blyden fouled him, and Suter splits the trip, so Miami's up 32-30, and Toledo can have their first lead of the game with a three-pointer. Sony Wilson around the screen gives up top. Sean Craig faked the three-pointer, and he backs down in the paint. Against Justin Kirby, 1-on-2, they kick in the corner. Owinga for three, that one's way short, and the rebound finds the open arms of Almar Atlason. Back to Miami, searching for their first field goal in about 5.5 minutes. Suter over to Skowjak and back to Atlason on the right wing. Gives in the right wing. This is Byers for three. He buries it, and Miami scores their first field goal in 5.5 minutes. It's 35-30 in the first.
And you cannot let Brant Byers get his feet set, because all of a sudden the rim gets so much larger for him. If his feet get set, it's bombs away.
Wilson in traffic converts a layup over the top of 2 RedHawks players, and the lead for Miami is back down to 3. Miami in the first half, 7 of 16 from deep and looking to continue adding. Almar Atlason goes in the corner. Luke Skowjak barreling down the lane, finds Suter, right wing three. He drills it. Miami's 8th three-pointer of the half, and they're up 38-32. A much-needed answer by Miami. Righty floater down the lane, short from Blyden. Who's going to come away with it? It's Suter and the RedHawks. Tight roping on the sideline. Minute left to go for Miami, up by 6. But they can really push momentum their way. Suter goes in the corner. Kirby fake the three-pointer and gives over Skowjak. And back to Suter for a deep three-pointer. Clangs off the rim, no good. And Craig the rebound.
That was his heat check. I think this place would have exploded if he made that.
35 seconds left to go. Sony Wilson and the Rockets will take a timeout. Stops the clock at 32.7. And we'll keep it here. Might as well for a little short timeout. Toledo behind by 6. They've had a lot of close games this year. And they're well coached, led by Todd Kowalczyk in his 16th year. The one thing for Toledo, though, is they have really good regular seasons, but they can never finish it out in the MAC tournament. Toledo under Kowalczyk has never made it to March Madness, and the Rockets overall haven't made March Madness in 46 years. So this is a team for Toledo, especially recently, that their fans are getting frustrated at the empty results. But Toledo's a 5 seed right now, and they could be playing Miami in the MAC tournament and trying to pick up a huge win against the RedHawks here in Southwest Ohio.
Toledo's always been one of those teams in the Mid-American Conference that you respect, and it's because of their record throughout the regular season. But like you said, it gets to the postseason and things start to crumble for Toledo.
Under 40 left to play, and it's Toledo basketball. On the right side, Leroy Blyden kicks in the corner. This is a three-pointer for Strong, and it's good. Minor Strong, the Dodge City Community College transfer, knocks it home, and Miami's lead is just 3. 10 seconds left to go. The RedHawks will have the final possession of the half. Peter Suter, deep near the logo, will drive on the right side, will take it down the lane. Righty layup falls down. It's good, and the RedHawks end the first half with a Peter Suter layup to give the RedHawks a 40-35 lead after 20 minutes. Well, Gavin, it wasn't pretty at times, but like everything we've seen this season, the RedHawks have found an answer, and they found an answer in a much-needed spot at the closing moments of that first period.
Yeah. And that answer being Peter Suter, your leader, really led in those final 2.5 minutes. It felt like he said, you know, let's calm down. I've got this. We've got this. And kind of took over parts of that last final stretch there for the RedHawks. Ultimately, they lead by 5, but credit Toledo for really clawing back into this one. It was down 31 to 18, and it felt like Miami had a huge opportunity to really just put them away for the entire rest of the night, because it's a huge situation when you're down 3 halfway through the first half. How are you going to answer? Toledo finds a way, finally starts nailing some three-pointers, and gets things going their way offensively, getting some big stops defensively, obviously, with the turnover issue that Miami's dealing with right now. So Toledo finds a way, only down 5 here, and what could have been a lot worse. So if you're a Toledo fan, got to feel pretty good, and if you're a Miami fan, a little frustrated ultimately with how that first half ended up, playing out.
Good news for Miami, too. Toledo only 3 of 13 from the three-point line, so the RedHawks are keeping them quiet in that first period. The leading scorer for Miami, it's Peter Suter, 12 points in his final home game here in Millett Hall. And for Toledo, it's Leroy Blyden Jr., the freshman, making a good impression, 11 points for him in the first 20 minutes. Well, we will take a break and turn it over to Sean Weisemann for our Red Hawk Radio halftime show. Stay with us. More action inside Millett Hall in just a moment.
Certainly battling right now. Certainly battling for this Toledo defense. Looked like they were employing, kind of mixing up their man and zone looks, and I think that was really throwing off the offensive rhythm. Also, a couple bad press breaks with some turnovers. Also, certainly didn't help the long run that the Toledo Rockets were able to go on, and ultimately that's how you get to a 5-point game. A couple other key takeaways from this game so far. Miami shooting the heck out of the ball right now, 55%, 15 of 27 from the field, 8 of 18 for 3. It seems to be that their priority is certainly to get the 3 ball up. I would like to see them focus on attacking the paint a little bit more. When they were early on, it was causing them some substantial amounts of success, as Woolfolk was able to really get going, had a couple key buckets early on. Ultimately, he only has the 5 points, and I feel like that's kind of in only 10 minutes. So, but he is 2 for 2, and he has a free throw and a rebound as well. So certainly something to keep an eye on. Something also to keep an eye on, though, is the fact that Miami is, on the whole, every single player who is registered a minute actually has a turnover. If you look at the spreadsheet, at the stat sheet here. And that is of note to say that it isn't just one single player who's being careless with the basketball. It is everybody being very, very careless with the basketball, and as a result, Miami's giving them a lot of free opportunities here. Like I mentioned before the game, there's the game against Western Michigan. The reason they were actually able to stick around with it is they played relatively clean basketball as far as turnovers are concerned. Only with, their 12th game with 10 or fewer turnovers. Well, today they have 8 in the first half. Certainly it's harder to win games when, you only have 8. Every single player has a turnover and you're just playing fairly sloppy basketball. It certainly makes for a harder time to win games for the RedHawks. On the Toledo side, they kind of are playing how you would expect them to play, not really shooting the 3 ball all that well. Only 3 of 13, including starting the game 0 of 7. The point is, this is a team that, is playing basically the exact same style they played the first time. The difference is the Miami offense hasn't been able to respond in the same way that they were in this first game here. Now, once again, a nice bucket from Suter at the very end of the first half there, with a second left. Makes this game feel a little further away than it actually is on paper, than it is in actuality. But, regardless, certainly a very strong performance from the Toledo Rockets here, especially in the last 10 minutes of that first half, last 8 minutes or so of that first half. Really impressive job to not allow themselves to really get that knockout blow, so to speak. and a great job from them. Well, we can get into some scores around the country. We have a bunch of top 25 action here on this Tuesday night as Georgia is up 7, 50-43 on 16th ranked Alabama. Texas Tech with 3.5 minutes left, up 3 on TCU without JT Topin. Another 3.5 minutes left for Virginia, who's only up 1, 23-22. Clemson and North Carolina in a dogfight in the first half. 2 minutes left in that first half with North Carolina up 27-25. An upset alert potentially for Ed Cooley in the Georgetown Hoyas as they are up 6 with 1.5 minutes left against 18th ranked St. John's. Yet to come here in about 10 minutes, we have Mississippi State versus Florida. The 5th-ranked Gators playing in Gainesville. And then also on the late slate, you have Oregon versus 11th-ranked Illinois. Kansas playing at Arizona State. And then 24th-ranked Vanderbilt playing at Ole Miss. And then 9th-ranked Nebraska playing UCLA at UCLA. Tennessee able to pull off a very convincing 78-59 win, keeping them inside the top 25. The 23rd ranked Volunteers able to secure a really great job, a really great win rather, in complete dominant fashion. As far as games in the MAC, a ton of close games. If you look up and down, no game within less than 7 points between the two teams. As far as the other games are concerned, Eastern Michigan and Buffalo, a game that I mentioned had some ramifications as far as Buffalo is concerned, staying alive in they are up 49-42. Another game that I told Bobcats of OU being up 39-37. At half as well, Ball State versus Western Michigan. Ball State up 25-22 in a very low-scoring affair. The leading scorer in that game has just 9 points, so certainly not a barn burner by any stretch of the imagination. And then Akron up 6 at half rather on Central Michigan, a team also kind of fighting for their lives. Would really love to get a home win against a really stout Akron team. We're going to take a quick break here for just a second, and then we will come back and kind of discuss some keys to the second half and some other takeaways and insights as we wrap up our halftime show here on Red Hawk Radio. I'll be back here in just a minute. Here with about 6 minutes until our second half gets underway. Just a couple other key takeaways for the RedHawks. One stat that really jumps out here for Miami, or I guess Toledo rather, is the points in the paint difference. I mentioned how Toledo really struggles defensively with their points in the paint, and yet only 12 points in the paint for the RedHawks versus 22 for Toledo. For Toledo, that's not surprising. They don't shoot the 3-ball very much, but that means they're also getting a lot of good looks inside and also making some tough contested shots. Leroy Blyden with 11, Sonny Wilson with 8. And I mentioned before the game started how those two were definitely going to have to be the ones to kind of carry the offensive load for Toledo if they wanted a chance. And so far, it's been both of them who have, in fact, showed up. Minor Strong with 5 as well, but I mean, those two really, Blyden and Wilson, the Toledo team goes as far as they go, and right now they're taking them pretty far, able to really scoring more than half the points for the Rockets. A really impressive performance for the two of them so far. Another thing to mention as well is that turnovers have been actually fairly even. I know I mentioned beforehand that Toledo is certainly getting, it seems to be like the more key takeaways as far as like getting the ones closer to the basket or maybe getting the ones on the fast breaks, but regardless, the turnovers are actually pretty split. 9 for Miami. I know we always talk about how the rebounding is always the weakness for this Miami squad, but again, it's kind of coming back to bite them on a couple sets of just 2 for Miami and 17 total rebounds to just Miami. So the point is, Miami probably won't out-rebound very many of their opponents, but it's at least making that their opponents. but it's at least making that opportunity, giving themselves the opportunity to make it close is really what's going to be, be able to give them a performance similar to the one they had in January at the Savage. Well, I'll step back here for just a couple minutes, and then we'll get Andrew as we start the second half in just a couple minutes. Keep it right here. In just a couple minutes. Keep it right here.
Welcome back inside Millett Hall for a highly anticipated Toledo Rockets in the final home game here inside Millett Hall. Andrew Relvas alongside Gavin Stark. Thank you for joining us and spending your Tuesday evening with us. For the RedHawks, up 40-35 after 20 minutes, but some work to be done and some things to clean up, especially on the turnover side. Miami turned it over 9 times. Each player that played for the RedHawks committed a turnover. So Miami looking to take better care of the ball and overall win their 30th game in a row. Gavin, what were some of your takeaways in that first half?
Yeah, I mean, offense started off so hot from beyond the arc. Just firing on all cylinders, it really felt like. And then they started to lose the basketball a lot of times, the RedHawks did. It felt like in that second half of this first half, and ultimately Toledo able to strike back into this one, because I think it was the 11-minute timeout was when I kind of sat back and thought to myself, the RedHawks might just shoot them out of this gym here inside of Millett Hall. And ultimately Toledo able to hang on, and now we're in a situation here if Toledo can really just hang around in this second half, upset watch starts to start here inside of Oxford. But RedHawks need to get things rolling quickly on this one and get that right off of the radar.
Toledo will strike first, working from left to right, and we got a whistle 4 seconds into the second half.
Didn't see a ton of whistles in that first half, really at all, most of it.
So another inbound, Blyden back to Wilson, and the Rockets will work it on the right timeline. This is Minor strong down the lane, righty layup falling down no good, and Woolfolk the rebound. The RedHawks force an opening stop, and they'll look to push the pace. In the corner, Peter Suter on the far side has Sony Wilson glued against him. Suter in the paint, draws the double team, lost the basketball, rolls in front of the RedHawks sideline, and the RedHawks will nearly turn it over. It was last touched by Strong, actually. So it stays with Miami. 15 on the shot clock. Finds Byers, left wing three, no good. It was a deep one, and it's back to the Rockets. Back to Toledo, behind by 5. Made 3 3-pointers in that first half. But as a team, they are pretty good in the MAC at beyond the arc. Austin Parks on the far elbow finds Leroy Blyden in the corner. This is Strong for 3, no good. And the rebound is picked up by Elmer. Back to Miami, working quickly. Skowjak on the edge of the logo finds Elmer, back to Skowjak, and Skowjak orchestrating the offense. Gives on the right side, Ian Elmer, back over Antoine Woolfolk. Woolfolk on the right wing, gives close to Suter, back to Woolfolk. Woolfolk short. 2 Rockets were there, and it's back to Toledo.
Slow start for both teams offensively. A minute and a half in, no points scored.
And here comes Blyden to the cup, scores it with ease, and Miami's lead is only 3 now.
Spoke too soon there.
Yeah, took full advantage of Miami inside the paint. 18-18 left to go. Skowjak on the right wing has Woolfolk just outside of the free throw line. Woolfolk had Elmer for a moment before it gives close to Skowjak, and it bounces right back to Woolfolk. Woolfolk fading away, free throw jumper falls in, and Woolfolk gets the RedHawks started in the second half. It's 42-37, 18 minutes left to go. Back to Toledo. This is a team that overall offensively one of the best in the MAC. Where they struggle is defense. And in comes Austin Parks, a beautiful dish from Sony Wilson. He glides in with a 2-handed slam, and Miami's lead is cut once again to 3.
Just a minute miscommunication on the defensive end for the RedHawks, and it's a free bucket inside the paint for the Rockets.
Back to Miami, up by a triple. Peter Suter around a Woolfolk screen, gives over Luke Skowjak, pump fake. Shifty move down low, has Woolfolk, lost the ball, and here come the racing Rockets. It's a 3-on-3 transition tray for Blyden. Halfway home, took 5 bounces, and the rebound is cleared by the RedHawks. Suter gives over Elmer, nearly turned it over. I mean, the RedHawks got to be careful with the basketball here. 10 turnovers. Back on the left wing, shot clock at 12. We'll take a contested left wing 3, and that's too. Toledo can tie it with a 3-pointer. Minor Strong, the JUCO transfer, floats over the top to Austin Parks, the former Ohio State Buckeye. 2 Big Ten forwards battling with Woolfolk, and Parks is stripped. Suter played a big part in that one. Suter bounce, finds Antoine Woolfolk in the lane. Euro step, no good. The RedHawks are really struggling offensively in the second period. Back the other way, here comes Toledo, and they're going to call a blocking foul on Brant Byers as Sony Wilson put up a shot in the paint.
I think Sonny Wilson might have got away with a little bit of a hook there,
Yeah.
to be quite honest with you. I mean, thought there was a chance that they call a hook there and it goes the other way. Byers picks up the foul, but ultimately this offense for the RedHawks cannot continue to play like this in this one if they want to come out here with a victory and get to 30-0.
16-15 left to go. Miami to open up the half. 1 of 5 from deep. Leroy Blyden rises over the top and puts it in over the top of Brant Byers, and Toledo's within 1, 42-41, 16 minutes left to go. And we've seen this movie a lot this season. The RedHawks have gotten a little quiet at times, and they've let some teams crawl back in. Peter Suter puts up a shot, counted and 1. Suter is willing the RedHawks in this game up to 14 points, has a chance for 15 with the N1 coming right up, and we'll take immediate timeout. Miami is once again ahead by 3, but battling against Toledo. 15:49 left to go in Miami. Only ahead by 3, 44-41. But Peter Suter will go to the free throw line and try and convert the three-point play. This is the fifth free throw for the RedHawks. And Suter misses it. So Miami's 2 of 5. And Toledo with a 3 can tie it up again. It is Leroy Blyden, gives over Vanderjack, and back up top to Minor Strong. Strong gives over Craig, and it's back to Wilson. Wilson in the lane, gives over Vanderjack, the former Central Michigan Chippewa. Shot clock winding down in single digits. Sony Wilson trying to cook something up. Wilson at the free throw line is stopped. Leroy Blyden, straightaway three-pointer, all alone, no good. The ball is loose on the baseline, and they're going to say it was last touched by Blyden, so it'll be Miami basketball. And Blyden took a hard fall, gets a helping hand from Suter.
Yeah, good to see him up and walking. Blyden has just been so impressive here tonight on the road in a tough environment. Just has never looked like a freshman once in this game so far. It's been to why Toledo is in this one right now.
Homer in some trouble, and the RedHawks have it on the left timeline. Travis Steele waving his arms and telling the RedHawks to go, go, go. There's on the right wing, swings close to Trey Perry. Back over Atlason, who will take it himself down the lane. Lost the Toledo, will work it the other way. Sony Wilson, and he sinks the.
It's about how he just wants to make an impact on the defensive end and bring tons of energy off the bench. And he's done that all season. Now he's bringing it offensively as well.
Sony Wilson on the inbound, misses the layup, or misses the shot badly. Great defense by Kirby, and Wilson is going to hear that air ball all night long. Right, RedHawk fans are trying to get in his head a little bit.
At times, it seems like RedHawk fans don't really know how to use the air ball chant. They use it all night, even after you make it. If you shoot one air ball, you're the air ball guy for the rest of the night.
Perry gives over, right wing three, Peter Suter, it's good. Suter all alone, no one there, makes Toledo pay, and the RedHawks are up 51-43. It's a 7-0 run.
Perry attracts 2 defenders and finds the open guy. It's Peter Suter right behind him. Bottoms.
Leiden over to Owinga. Owingo tarped by Perry, righty floater short, and that's Brant Byers the rebound. RedHawks are on a run here, and they're looking to keep this train rolling. Almar Atlason in the paint, floats up top, threw it away, stolen away by Blyden, and it's off to the races. Blyden rises up, puts up a shot, and he drew a hard foul. 3 RedHawks were trailing him, and Blyden has not gotten up yet. Blyden went way up over the rim, and he took a really tough fall, but he's up with some assistance by the Toledo players.
And I was interested when you see Brant Byers, a long, lengthy player like him, trailing behind Blyden. You wonder if he's going to go for that block. He ultimately does. Almost gets all ball, too, there. The contact came after he initially got all ball, so what an effort by Byers, and what an effort by Blyden as well.
2 free throws for Blyden, the native of Detroit. Some big ones. And he makes the first one. Blyden actually went to the same high school as Sony Wilson. And Sony Wilson was the Gatorade Michigan Player of the Year. And for Blyden, he was the Mr. Basketball runner-up. So both Blyden and Wilson were really 2 awesome prospects coming out of high school. Second free throw for Blyden is good. And Miami's lead is just 6.
Trey McKinney was the guy who won it in front of him. He was ultimately in front of Darius Acuff as well, Blyden, last year in Detroit. So just an impressive player. Blyden is a huge recruit Toledo got out of.
Brant Byers deep three on the left wing. It's good. Another three-pointer for the RedHawks, their 10th of the game, and they're up 54-45.
Crowd right back in this one. Shots fall, crowd stands. They are up here in Millett Hall.
Sony Wilson trying to quiet this Miami crowd. Floats on the right side to the former Buckeye in Austin Parks. Parks draws the double team, lost the basketball, and they're going to call a foul. They reach in on either Atlason or Suter, and it looks like it's going to be Atlason.
I don't know how Atlason picks that foul up. He took an elbow to the chest area there and went flying back, so I'm at a loss for words.
Back to the Rockets. Jalen Owinga gives over Sony Wilson. Wilson searching for space. He's got Byers close by on the right wing, and he dances with him. Wilson, jumper from the right elbow short. Rebound is battled for, and under 12 minutes left to play, and Miami is up ahead 54-45 over Toledo in our second half. Andrew Relvas alongside Gavin Stark. Thanks for joining us and spending your Tuesday evening with us. Miami looking to make it 30, and the Rockets force an opening stop. Back to Toledo, who has been scoreless for a while now. They're one for their last 6. Austin Parks misses the close layup. Sean Craig the rebound, lost the basketball, but the Rockets recover right back. Left wing three-pointer. This is good by Sony Wilson, and he silences Miami's student section. 54-48 in the second. Back to the RedHawks. They've got Elmer, Kirby, Byers, Atlason, and Perry out. Kirby around a screen, drives inside, lost the basketball. 2 Rockets are there. They swarm them. They feed up top over to Byers. Byers down the lane, and he draws a foul. This is going to be on Sean Craig.
If they don't foul Byers there, he might have gone right down and taken it and thrown it down. He had an open lane there. Beat 2 defenders. Place was ready to rock. He was ready to rock the rim.
Brant Byers will go to the free throw line for the first time today. Byers at the stripe, makes the first one. On the season, Byers is a 78% free throw shooter. That's 15th in the MAC. Last game he made 2 of them, and those were his only 2 points, but he made up for it defensively, silencing Western Michigan. Second free throw for Brant is good. And Miami builds this lead up a little bit. They're ahead 56-48 in the second period.
Yeah, with Brant Byers, when he is confident and sees a huge rim, he is one of the streakiest and best scorers in the entire MAC. seen it so many times this season.
Sean Craig has it, puts on the brakes, kicks in the corner. Craig for three on the far side, and it rattles in. Sean Craig gives Toledo some much-needed offense, and they cut this Miami lead a little bit to 5. Atlason floats in over the top, searching for Elmer, and it's intercepted by the Rockets. They pick that, leads over beyond the left wing to Brant Byers. Byers in the lane, goes over Atlason, kick in the corner. Elmer for three, no good. Halfway home, and the rebound is snared by the big man in Austin Parks. 5-0 run by Toledo, and they are looking to keep their pedal to the metal. Down the lane, this is Wilson, finds Austin Parks. Lefty layup falls in over the top of the rim and in. And just like that, it's a one-point game. A huge response on the road by the Rockets.
Another run from Toledo. Finds himself down one once again in this one. How can Miami respond? Can they? Will they?
Skowjak gives up top. Atlason feeds in for Elmer. And that pass from Atlason a little too hot to handle over the top. And off of Elmer, that is Miami's 14th turnover. And it'll be Toledo basketball. Miami ahead 56-55. They've led the entire game, but at stretches, it has been a little scary for Miami.
Got to take better care of the basketball ultimately. I mean, when Toledo goes on these runs, you cannot just give the basketball back to them, and that is what the RedHawks have done.
Sean Craig gives over left side. Minor strong. Bouncer in the paint. Has Austin Parks. Parks puts up a shot. It was blocked by Elmer, and here come the RedHawks. Luke Skowjak on the right wing, searching for bodies. He's got Woolfolk. Straightaway three-pointer. Skowjak, too strong, but Woolfolk, the rebound, finds the arms of Kirby, and it's back to Miami for a moment before Elmer lost it, and here come the Rockets. It's a 3-on-2 for Toledo. Left wing three, Wilson, no good. And the rebound will bounce out of bounds, and it'll be off of Toledo. Miami basketball again. But for the RedHawks, it has been ebbs and flows in this game where Miami has really succeeded and really struggled. They're just trying to put a consistent product out for the final home game. And we'll see if they can get this offense back on track. 8:30 left to go. Miami only up by 1. Suter back in the game. It's Luke Skowjak at half court. Bounces on the left side, Peter Suter. Suter down the lane at the free throw line, puts on the brakes, and he feeds back beyond the key, Ian Elmer. Straightaway three-pointer. It's good. Ian Elmer from way up top gives Miami a 4-point lead and puts the offense back on schedule.
What an answer.
Sorry to cut you off there. Back to Toledo. This is a free throw jumper for Strong, and he missed it. Too strong on that one, and it is back to the RedHawks. Suter bounces down low, spinning inside. Woolfolk, shot was denied by Owinga. And here in the corner, this is Strong. Back over Owinga and back to Strong near half court. Huge possession here for Todd Kowalczyk's Rockets.
You got to have your best set here if you're Toledo. It feels like such a crucial moment to keep yourself in this one.
In the paint, Owinga, righty layup, short. Great defense on the interior by Woolfolk and Elmer, and Ian Elmer grabs the rebound. 59-55, Miami up. Peter Suter thought about driving in, kicks in the corner. Luke Skowjak, beautiful pump fake. Got 2 Rockets to fly up, and he drew the foul on the paint layup. We'll be shooting free throws after our media timeout, but the RedHawks really find something and will this team to their 30th consecutive victory. We'll take a break and be back inside Millett Hall. Miami's up 59. 7 minutes left to go. Miami ahead 59 to 55 and trying to keep their perfect season alive. It'll be Luke Skaljak at the free throw line to try and will the RedHawks ahead by a little bit more. And tonight, Skaljak, 7 points. He hasn't looked rusty after missing the last game at Western Michigan. First free throw for Skaljak is good. He's wearing a partial glove on his right hand. So that's to protect him in the game. And of course, he's trying to stay healthy as the MAC tournament is coming up. Second free throw is good from Skaljak. He goes 2 of 2, and the RedHawks are ahead 61-55 in the second.
Yeah, Skaljak played a little less so far tonight than he probably normally would, but overall, I mean, hasn't played a bad game whatsoever.
Blyden, dangerous pass, eventually finds Strong on the far side. Go over Owinga, back over to James, and then cycle back to Blyden. Blyden down the lane, passes up to Owinga, reverse layup short, but he grabs the rebound. They kick out, left wing 3 from Vanderjack, and it's good. And that cuts Miami's lead to 3.
Woolfolk's got to be stronger with the ball in his hands. The second time tonight where a ball has been poked out of his hands. He's got to keep it up high and be strong with it when he's bringing it down.
Rebounding margin is 2 in favor of Toledo. It's felt like a lot more with a lot more second chance opportunities. Skaljak on the right wing received a pass from Suter, and Skaljak feeds in the paint for Woolfolk. Lost the ball, bodies flying everywhere. Suter comes up with it, and the RedHawks reset. Shot clock winding down, got to put up a shot. It's in! Peter Suter, what a play by the senior. Gives Miami a 5-point lead again.
Suter's got a cape on right now and says, give me the ball. Shot clock going down. I'll take it.
What a play by the senior, 19 points. And here comes the Rockets. It's Sonny Wilson, and he was fouled. A bump by Peter Suter. Stops it at 5:38.
The crowd was not a fan of that. You could barely hear the whistle because of how loud this place is. Millett Hall is rocking.
That's Suter's third. And Byers comes in for Kirby. So it's Byers, Skaljak, Woolfolk, Suter, and Elmer for the red and white. 5:38 left to go. The inbound floated over the top, finds the arms of Leroy Blyden. Blyden dancing with Elmer down the lane, righty layup. It's good. And Toledo's within 3 again. It's 63-60, 5.5 left to go in the game.
Blyden using his speed there to get around the bigger defender in Elmer.
Blyden up to 19, and is a major part why Toledo has been battling so well against Miami tonight. Suter has it, bounces down low, has Antoine Woolfolk up and under. It's good for the Rutgers Scarlet Knight player, and Miami ahead by 5 again.
Crafty finish there from the big man in Antoine Woolfolk.
And down the lane again, Wilson, but in comes the flying Owinga, who slams it home with 2 hands.
I'm not even sure how he ended up with the basketball in his hands, let alone gets it up and dunks it.
65-62 our score again, and it's back to the RedHawks. Receiving the ball on the left timeline, it's Peter Suter on the right side, pushed off of Strong. Antoine Woolfolk, right wing 3, he sinks it. Antoine Woolfolk all alone on an island makes Toledo pay, and the RedHawks are up 68-62 in the second.
He's shown multiple times this season that he can shoot it, leave him open, he'll knock it down.
In comes Wilson, Suter, great defense, and back the other way are Miami. Moving from right to left, Brant Byers, deep 3 on the right side, short. That was a little heat check, rebound bounced around, finds Antoine Woolfolk, and it gives up top. Ian Elmer, straightaway 3, rolls off, no good, and they're gonna call an offensive foul on Miami. A push off underneath. We'll see who this is on, and that will be the 6th foul on Miami in the half, so soon to be free throws for Toledo. That foul's gonna be on Byers, his second.
Toledo needs to answer here. They're gonna call a timeout though. Set things up.
Todd Kowalczyk says, let's talk things over. He wants to give his Rockets group a little break. 4:18 left to go. Miami ahead 68-62, but still a lot left to be determined on the court inside Millett Hall. We'll be back in just a little bit here at Oxford. The RedHawks are up by 6 at home. .4:18 left to go. Miami ahead 68-62 and looking to hang on and capture their 30th win in a row. The only thing that stands in their way, however, is Toledo, who is in this game, and they have been battling against Miami all evening long. It'll be Toledo basketball on the right timeline, and they pass it in quickly. Whiffs it over to Strung, and he finds Blyden down the lane, blocked by Elmer, and here come the RedHawks. They have a 5-on-4. We'll see if they use their numbers. In the corner from Suter. Here's Ian Elmer down the lane, lost the ball on the baseline, and they're going to say it was out of bounds off of Miami. Owinga was closer to the baseline, ripped it out of bounds, and the referees are going to push this to a review. I mean, from our view, it looked like clearly Owinga ripped it out of bounds, but we'll see.
I love reviews and how it's been added to college basketball, because when a coach, does the signal that he wants to review, the bench and the crowd just gets so hyped before even knowing the final result of the review. It's great for college basketball. It's been something that needed to be added, and it's been a great addition for this great sport. But I mean, from where we're at, we're obviously far away up here, but I mean, it looked pretty clear on who was out and was not out on Elmer.
Yeah, we'll wait and see. But either way, should be Miami basketball. And guess we'll find out. Take a brief break and be back in a moment. Miami ahead 68-62. After a lengthy review, it'll be Miami basketball. That play on the baseline got overturned. So it'll be RedHawks basketball up by 6 and trying to propel this team to 30-0.
Travis Steele had time to talk things over. I'm sure this set is exactly what they want.
Skowjak on the inbound has Suter, and he missed it off of the elbow. Here come the Rockets, the lob and the finish from Blyden to Parks, or rather that's Owinga, and Miami advantage is cut to 4. Back the other way, here comes Skowjak down the lane, lost the ball. Fadeaway jumper is good. That's a spot right there. Luke Skowjak making it look easy, and Miami's ahead again by 6.
Down a hand, down a wrist, whatever it is. Skowjak says, give me the ball and let me make a play, and he does exactly that with his fadeaway look.
3.5 left to go. In the corner, this is James. James inside the free throw line, and he sinks it. Both sides trading blows in Millett Hall, and it's a 4-point game again. 70-67, Miami on top. Back to the red and white on the left timeline. Millett Hall is silent and trying to help their squad concentrate. Skowjak has it, gives up top. Antoine Woolfolk, straightaway 3, no good on the right side. But we have a foul on the floor against Toledo.
Byers draws that foul because of his activity down on the glass. Picked up a foul a few minutes ago down there. This time, his effort picks up a foul for the RedHawks, and now they get to keep possession.
That was on Strong, and Skowjak inbounds on the second eye of Miami over to Elmer and back up top to Antoine Woolfolk. Woolfolk on the left wing, searching for options. He's got Elmer, left wing 3. No good, but we got a foul. It'll be 3 free throws coming up for Ian Elmer as Will James kind of uncharacteristically threw him to the floor. And the RedHawks will be gifted some necessary free throws. And for Ian Elmer, you got to make a majority of them here. You don't have to make all 3, but 2 out of 3 be really good.
Yeah, I mean, you have a cylinder around you, an invisible one, when you are shooting. And if you land in that cylinder as a defender, you are going to get called for it. That's exactly what happens there.
First one from Elmer is good. Elmer, a 78% free throw shooter. Scored 10 points in his last game against Western Michigan. Second one on the way, in and out. So it's 71-67. Free throw here would make it a 6-point game. And with 2:43 left to go, these are clutch free throws. Here's the third one, and he makes it. So he goes 2 of 3, and the RedHawks are up 72-67. 2-possession advantage for Miami, trying to improve to 30-0. On the left side, Will James goes over to Sony Wilson. Wilson on the right wing, goes back left side to Will James. Will James in the paint, lefty layup. Great defense by Byers, and Woolfolk the rebound. Here come the racing RedHawks. Skowjak goes over Elmer, up and under, reverse layup, no good, but the rebound finds the arms of Skowjak for a moment, eventually back to the Rockets. Here comes Vanderjagt. His shot is swatted away. Back the other way is Will James, and he converts the layup. 4-point game, 72-68 Miami. The RedHawks need some offense. Ahead by 4, but they've been quiet for a little while. Peter Suter, top of the key, gives over Luke Skowjak on the left wing. Gets a screen from Woolfolk around the side. They swing it over. Right wing 3, Skowjak, and he missed it badly, but Suter saves it, and Woolfolk recovers the rebound. Miami will work it slow. Ian Elmer, right wing 3, short again, and the rebound is eventually tapped into the arms of Sony Wilson. In the corner, Wilson for 3, no good. But this is going to be off of the arms of Brant Byers, who took a shove from behind, no foul, and it'll stay with the Rockets with 1:20 left to go.
I can't believe there was no foul call there.
And we will take a timeout. 1:20 left to go. Don't go anywhere. Miami up by 4. and trying to stay undefeated, but the Rockets are making it close in Millett Hall. Stay with us for more Miami men's basketball action on Red Hawk Radio. A minute 20 left to go, and it would not be a Miami basketball game without it being close and coming down to the wire. But this is a real estate where the RedHawks have played well all season long, and they're looking to continue it here inside Millett Hall. It'll be Toledo basketball on the baseline. Sony Wilson searching for answers, and he eventually goes in the backcourt to Will James Jr. And he hands close to Leroy Blyden. 4-point lead for Miami. Toledo trying to stun the RedHawks here at home. Blyden on the left side. Shot clock at 6. It means go time. Pump and pop, and Blyden sinks it from the free throw line. 2-point game, a minute left to go. Miami has it from right to left, and Toledo's employing the zone. They get it across the timeline. Skowjak over to Woolfolk, and Travis Steele will take a timeout as Woolfolk just made a deep three-pointer, but won't count. So we'll take a break and be back for our final couple of possessions inside Millett Hall and a fun finish here at home. RedHawks possession up 72-70, and they need a quick answer against this scrappy Rockets squad. It'll be Suter on the inbound, close to the RedHawks sideline, and he bounces over to Skowjak. Skowjak has it on the left pillar of the red M. Skowjak going down the lane, bounces to a wide open Antoine Woolfolk, and he finishes over the top and in. The RedHawks up 74-70. And we've got a timeout taken by Toledo. But a perfect execution. Skowjak to Woolfolk makes the Rockets pay. And it's a 4-point game again for Miami.
That's beautiful stuff there. Skowjak gets the ball, fakes the shot, gives it to his big man Antoine Woolfolk, and he finishes at the rim. I mean, just having Luke Skowjak on the floor is so vital. I mean, big situations, you give him the ball, he makes the right decision. It feels like every single time, whether it's him shooting it and being clutch, we saw that at Kent State, or Luke Skowjak just being clutch with his decision making. Does it right there. 40 seconds left on the clock. Need a shot to go down. He leads the charge there.
40.2 left to go. And Miami is under a minute away from making it 30-0. This team just continues to impress so many people. They continue to trailblaze their own history, but work to be done. Got to get a stop here.
Kirby guarding the ball too.
Leroy Blyden taking it across the timeline, gives up top, Sony Wilson. Wilson on the right side, searching for bodies. Owinga back to Wilson as he barrels down the lane, lost the basketball in the air. Wilson recovers, missed the shot. Here comes Will James, and he coasts in for the layup. It's a 2-point game again, and we might see some fouls. 24.4 left to go. RedHawks on the inbound, and Suter had Skowjak almost a turnover. Great defense by Strong, but it'll be Miami basketball, and they got to be careful with it here.
Ooh, man, I mean.
So it's getting scary.
Yeah.
This is like the last game where both sides were tied with 12 seconds left. We'll see which Miami player can be the hero tonight. And it'll be Peter Suter inbounding in front of Todd Kowalczyk's bench. Suter searching for open bodies. Passes on the left side over to Atlason, gives back to Suter, and he swings it behind to Elmer. The RedHawks got to get it across here. Time is winding down, eventually finds Almar Atlason at the half stripe, and Atlason draws a foul. Two Rockets were swarming him quickly. And with some free throws here, might get really tough for Toledo.
Asking for a 10-second call, and it was close, but it looks like the pass got out of his hands literally at 14 seconds. Now fouled with 13 left because they're going to talk, though.
Todd Kowalczyk arguing with the officials. He's a passionate coach, but no foul call for a tech.
He's got a passionate coach as well. We saw that Friday.
Just gave him a warning. It'll be Miami basketball. On the inbound, Elmer over to Byers, and a quick foul again. So Toledo, they had to give a few fouls, and now that is the 6th on the Rockets. Or rather, that is the 7th. So it'll be the RedHawks at the free throw line. Brant Byers. We shoot in the 1-and-1. And the Rockets bringing in some more size. Austin Parks in for Will James. Parks standing at 6'10". Clutch free throws coming up here for Brant. Brant 13 points tonight. Need to make them both. And his first one is off. 2-point lead for Miami, and Toledo can win it with a 3. Leroy Blyden down the lane, lost the basketball, ball's loose on the floor. Who's going to come away with it? Skowjak steals it away, and Miami is going to have it with .1. 1/10 of a second left at possession for Toledo, where they had a chance to stun Miami here. They turn it over, and Miami is so close from winning this one here at Millett Hall.
Man. This defense just stands tall.
Oh, my goodness.
They knew Blyden wanted to go right when he turns right. 2 defenders are there swarming the ball. It's beautiful execution.
Skowjak at the free throw line. Short, misses it, doesn't matter. Triple zeros on the timer, and Miami wins. The RedHawks beat the Rockets 74-72, and the wait is finally over. For the first time in 21 years, the Miami RedHawks are the Mid-American Conference regular season champions, and they win their 30th game in a row, and they have also completed a perfect home season. This RedHawks season continues to become more and more special, and the magical carpet ride for Miami continues past the 30th game.
Well, it wasn't easy, and no one ever said it would be, but this team continues to just find a way. Travis Steele's talked about it so many times, and media continues to talk about it as well. This team's impressive because, on nights where some things just don't go their way, they still find a way, and that's so impressive because 30 games, just a few hiccups here and there can ultimately cause a few losses, and this team continues to just find a way no matter what. The second half wasn't all theirs. Toledo had so many different answers, but defensively they stand tall when it matters most on the final possession, forcing a turnover, get the job done. 30-0. They haven't lost here inside Millett since November of 2024.
Against Wright State.
That doesn't even sound real. It was November 3rd, I think, 2024 was the last time they lost here inside this building. They're not going to lose this season as well. I mean, ultimately, the most impressive thing on this entire team's resume is the fact that they continue to find ways. 30-0. Different guys step up every single night. Tonight, you needed a few guys.
Yeah, I mean, this team just continues to impress so many people. They impress me every single game. Feels like they're going to lose. Feels like that loss is coming, but they just continue to defy all expectations, and adversity is their friend, and Miami wins 74-72. And now we got Travis Steele on the court, thanking all the fans here, and hand it right to him.
It's a marathon. We're getting every team's best shot. We played a hell of a team tonight in Toledo. We've got a really good team. We're going to celebrate. We appreciate you guys celebrating with us. But just know, listen, the job is not finished. Will the RedHawks win tonight? Your Floridian basketball team.
He says it. The job is not finished, and I think that's what me and you are thinking right here inside the booth right now, because 30-0, and it means nothing.
That's right. They got one more game to win, and they can join only a few teams ever to finish the regular season undefeated, and that will be against the Ohio Bobcats on Friday in a really loud and a really tough environment. The RedHawks also haven't won there in over 10 years, so Miami will look to beat the Bobcats there, and just like that, the RedHawks are hoisting the MAC regular season trophy. What a year for the RedHawks. Miami is the MAC regular season champion for the first time since the 2004 and 5 season.
We got confetti on Millett Hall court right now, too. I mean, this might be a first. This is just a cool moment for this team, but looking for 31-0 and making history on Friday night in Athens. Going to be a tough one. Battle of the Bricks always feels like it means more. It definitely means a lot more this time when you have a perfect regular season on the line, and then you travel to Cleveland next weekend for ultimately the biggest test of the year, the MAC tournament. But you take it one game at a time. Friday, the next one.
And again, it wasn't pretty, but the RedHawks come out with another close win to improve to 30-0 and 17-0 in the MAC, and one more game to win before likely they can clinch an at-large bid in the NCAA tournament. And for all the haters out there, the RedHawks keep on winning. Despite the noise, this team is locked and loaded, and they are ready to continue this magical season. Miami's next game, of course, will be against the Ohio Bobcats on Friday. That'll be a 9 o'clock start in the Convocation Center against their rivals in the second edition of the Battle of the Bricks. And meanwhile, for Toledo, falling to 16-14 and 10-7 in the MAC, their three-game winning streak is over, and they will take on the Buffalo Bulls in Savage Arena next game on Friday at 7 o'clock. Thanks again for joining us. Andrew Relvas alongside Gavin Stark. The RedHawks end tonight as the 2025-26 MAC regular season champions. the first time they've done it in 21 years. And now we will turn it over to Sean Weisemann for our Red Hawk Radio post-game show. From Gavin, my name is Andrew. Thanks again for joining us, and stay tuned for more Red Hawk Radio coverage of this Miami men's basketball team in a moment.
What a season for the RedHawks as it just continues to build. 30-0 for the Miami RedHawks. Just an unbelievable job. You really can't have much more of a picture-perfect season than you do for this squad right here. It genuinely is unbelievable just how they always manage to find a way, regardless of the situation. I'm Sean Weisemann. I'm here for your post-game show here on Red Hawk Radio. I will make this brief given the fact that it's just there's not many things I can put into words describing this season, but certainly a night to remember as the confetti comes out, as the MAC title trophy comes out for the first time since 2004 and 2005. It resides in Oxford, Ohio, and it's many thanks to a bunch of different contributors from the RedHawks. Antoine Woolfolk, I said he would be the second, one of the two leading scorers. He was with 14, 6 for 10, 6 rebounds. Once again, able to dominate the low post at many points and really had a great game. On top of that, you had Brant Byers with 13. A great performance from him as well after a 2-point performance against Western Michigan. And then you also have, of course, Pete Suter. 19 points, 7 of 10, 4 of 7 from 3, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, and a block. I mean, he was stuffing the stat sheet. And, you kind of call him, the captain of the team or whatever, because he really is. He's just a leader, and he's just knows how to get it done. It really is. He's just a special player and a great part of the Miami RedHawks program, and obviously, and that's in spite of some rough games from some of the other players. Luke Skaljak also in his return. I know I mentioned before the game we weren't sure he was, a game-time decision. He still more than performed, 11 points on 4 of 7 shooting with a couple assists and a couple of steals. Just like a great performance all around. I mean, obviously, like I said, there was a couple less than stellar performances, but overall, finding a way to just get it done. This Toledo team really, really took to heart the performance, the beatdown that the Miami RedHawks gave them the first time around, and as a result, they said, no, we're not going to let that happen, and they didn't. They fought. But this was a game that Miami led for 39 minutes and 49 seconds, the entire game basically. I mean, so they just from start to finish were in in control, sometimes more than others, but regardless, in spite of 15 turnovers, to Toledo's 10, a great job from the RedHawks to really put it away there at the end. A great defensive sequence from the entire RedHawks squad and a great finish to their home stretch. They have one more game at OU this Friday. That will be a very highly watched game. I believe that will be on national television as well, along with several other of the games that the RedHawks have been a part of. This one will be on ESPN2. But as the Nets come down tonight, we like to thank the seniors, of course, Antoine Woolfolk, Pete Suter, and Eli Yofin for all the contributions they've made to the program, and we hope to continue to do so. So we, in the meantime, will see you guys in Cleveland as we will be there and, recording for you guys and broadcasting live from Cleveland as we hope that the RedHawks are able to put together 3 wins in 3 days and cap off a 32, potentially 31-0 regular season with the chance for 34-0 going into March Madness. Thank you so much for listening. I am Sean Weisemann once again signing off. We really appreciate your support this entire season, and we look forward to talking to you in Cleveland. Cheers. Have a great rest of your night.